are located here, small companies, and they demand quite high rent, as you can imagine. Very quiet district, near to the city center and very near to the lake, so very popular to live if you can afford it. Also very famous composer lived here, Richard Wagner. He came here as a political refugee in the 1850s, and besides others he composed Tristan.
Babalik sa amin kasi nandun sa amin yung pinakamalaki museum ng Titanic. At saka Northern Ireland is a green country. Kahit na mag-winter kami, green pa rin kami.
Dito lang kami natutuwa rito eh.
Ha? Sabi namin, puro green pa rin.
Located here, small companies, and they demand quite high rent, as you can imagine. Very quiet district, near to the city center and very near to the lake, so very popular to live if you can afford it. Also very famous composer lived here, Richard Wagner. He came here as a political refugee in the 1850s, and besides others he composed Tristan. Quite a lot of wine. And we produce excellent wine here in Zurich on the right-hand side of the lake. So that's the sunny part, also called the Gold Coast. The other side is named the Silver Coast, and nasty people even call it the Sneezing Coast, which is really not true. We just get a couple of hours less of sun in the evening. That's the sunny part this side, so very good for the vineyards. So you see quite old buildings here, and those districts or those villages, as I said, they kept their village character. They have their own shops, their own schools, they have the doctors, they have the banks, pharmacies, and so on. You are actually of the city of Zurich. Living quarter, yeah, but quite expensive. So public transportation brings you from the center up here within a few minutes. Buses, as you can see, just coming one down. Trams, we even have cable cars. Funiculars bringing you up here. We'll see one or two then later on. So you really don't need a car. Not everybody can afford a car. Not everybody can drive a car, and luckily it is so, because if everybody would have a car, you wouldn't move a centimeter anymore. We already have like this enough traffic problems and traffic jams, so you will quicker if you use public transportation. So even up here to the expensive part of Zurich, public transportation brings you up and down. It's also the recreation area, the free time area for the population of the citizens here in Zurich. So you are within a few minutes in the forest. You can hike, bike, picnic, run, whatever along the hill here up the Zurich Berg. So it's the same on the other side. We'll see it then later on when we have our next short stop. So you have the right hand side and the left hand side of the lake with the chains, mountain chains, where you can hike, bike, or just go out into the nature. Don't forget, 200 years ago, Switzerland was just a farmer's country. We still have the stubbornness of the farmers in Switzerland, which causes us sometimes some problems in politics. That's also the reason why we are not in the European community. We have the Schengen Agreement. So, in the middle of the city, you have actually the public gardens, fields, even fruits and vegetables are growing up here in summer. You will just see one field now on the left. And here is the tram, which brings you number 5 and 6 to the zoo. And I don't know what will grow here next summer, what kind of fruit. But as you can see, all the people are walking around here, and certainly those who have to walk the dogs. So many restaurants, hotels are also up here. And also famous people lived up here. The most famous one was Tina Turner. So she lived up here, has moved down though to Küsnacht, the village on the shores of Lake Zurich. So she bought there a house, and also a famous doctor lived up here, Mr. Becher Benner. He was the founder of the Becher Muesli. So he produced this muesli for his patients who had digestions and stomach problems. So since then the recipes have changed, and thousands different recipes. You love granolas and mueslis, whatever you mix in is called muesli today. The disadvantage of everything, they have too much sugar inside. In those days, Dr. Becher didn't use sugar almost at all. He used fruits to sweeten the muesli. So you see here lots of nice houses, more or less discreet behind gardens. In winter you can see the houses, in summer they are hidden behind the trees and bushes and flowers. So very quiet area. And also the bus comes up here to pick you up, to bring you down to the city. So you really don't need a car if you live in town. Certainly there are people having a car, but the real citizens don't even have one because they just don't use it. And if they need a car, they just rent one. You save a lot of money, I can tell you, if you don't need a car. So all these more or less private houses. Here on the right was the house of Tina Turner before she moved down to the lake. So flats and houses up here. At the end of the road is also a very nice 5-star hotel, the Hotel Rigi. It's called like this because on clear and sunny days from here you can see Mount Rigi. They even have their own funicular which brings the guests or the tourists up here to the hotel, and they also have their own theater, a very famous actually Rigi Theater, which shows many interesting and good performances up here. I've been already quite a few times. Very nice little theater. So you've just seen the small bus coming up here picking up the people to bring them down to the city. So when we turn left, we'll have a few minutes stop. You can step out and take some pictures. I will explain to you what you can see from up here. Here on the right, the entrance to the hotel has a lovely terrace. In summer, beautiful to have a cup of coffee. The funicular stop here. And we have now a short stop here. You can, as I said, step out. And I will explain to you what you can see from up here. Just a few minutes stop.